think we just started chapter 4, so we just explored a whole new area of the house, and have discovered many more puzzles that we haven't solved yet. We just made our way up into the attic. We haven't really looked at any of the things here yet. Lectures on botany. Oh dear. My streams have enough of those in, even when we're not playing this game. The sight of plants. Some scientists have theorized that plants have photoreceptors in their leaves and stems, which allows them to see the colour of light. This means that flowers can tell the time of day and know when to open or close their buds. The exact time that flowers bloom is different for each flower, but most do appear to respond to light and the colour of light in the same way. Horticulturists and botanists have made use of this knowledge to trick flowers into blooming at any time they like. Every single fact in this game I've had to attach a disclaimer to, just out of professional obligation. So apologies if this is a bit tedious. But plants can't actually tell the colour of light. In theory, they could react to red and blue light because that's how photosynthesis works. So the reason that plant leaves are green is that green is the one wavelength that they don't use for photosynthesis. So that they reflect green light. So that's what we see. They use the blue and red light. This is all getting a bit technical. Maybe Tofu should do a stream about the physics of plants. Plants do open and close their flowers in response to the time of day, but this is just done by light intensity. They can't tell what colour the light is. However, in the game they can, so there. What is this? Inspect rusty pig. Was not a phrase I expected to say today. It's definitely a rusty pig. Is this the attic's version of the duck? We've had a duck in every section so far. This is not a duck. This is a pig. Don't know what we need to do. I notice we can carry the pig around with us. There we go. There is now a rusty pig over here. Anything else that I can interact with? Doesn't look like it. So then we have this slide projector. Magic lantern, property of Arabella Green. Okay, we don't actually have any slides in the slide projector. Guessing that's what this is. Blue, orange, green, pink, yellow, red, purple. Obviously purple is the superior colour. There we go. So I think I know what's going to happen here. Downstairs we had that room with all the paintings of sunsets in it. And by placing a plant in this pot and then shining these slides at it, we would be able to create our own sequence of colours. One of which must be the sequence that the plant is expecting to see in order for it to bloom in this game. No idea what sequence that is yet. Dinner invitation. My dear niece, I fear the window may be closing for you to find a suitable husband. I have arranged a dinner for you to meet my neighbour's son, Edward. He is successful in business in London. Your cousins William and Thomas may well aspire to become accomplished scientists, but for you, Arabella, It is better to make yourself useful in the small duties of life, for which you will be loved and appreciated. Your studious nature will no doubt be valuable should you have a son, but it would be foolish to allow such a folly to come before the important things in life. I am confident this is what your parents would have wanted. Dinner will be from 5 o'clock on Sunday. Remember to wear a becoming dress. Yours very sincerely, Aunt Agnes. Well, Aunt Agnes, as a queer person who doesn't have children and doesn't want them, and in fact can't have them, you will not be surprised to hear I don't think very highly of your advice. And I will therefore not be attending dinner. I thought that was a dot I could interact with, but it was some speck of dust. It is 3:10. Ah, no, okay, so the attic does in fact have a duck, so the rusty pig is a bonus, just for the attic, I guess. Very beautiful window. I wish I had one of these in my house. Especially with this sort of floral design to it. Some seeds. We have the brook chalice seeds. So the brook chalice is the one that needs water of a particular temperature. And caused me to go on a rant about the rivers of North Somerset last stream, which this game does get the accurate river names. Doesn't quite get the temperatures right. We also have the latest copy of the Botanist's Digest. The BSBI newsletter is not nearly as fancy as this. Apart from anything else, it's just an email with a PDF attached to it. I assume at one point they had a printed edition. That would have been long before I joined. February 1863. This month, in conversation with Professor Montague, leading expert in British meadow orchids, in his words, every plant, every leaf, and every meadow holds secrets waiting to be unlocked. My aim is simply to uncover some of these mysteries. Professor John Montague, renowned botanist, sheds light on his groundbreaking work in the world of meadow orchids and other botanical wonders. With decades of research and numerous publications to his name, Professor Montague's contributions to the field have been nothing short of revolutionary, including discoveries of new species such as Dactylorhiza Montague, or hood marsh orchid, which actually was discovered by me, and he took all the credit. There we go. And that might be everything in the attic that we can interact with. I keep seeing these specks of dust and thinking they're dots for the interactions, but they're not. So we have everything we need for the brook chalice. We don't quite have everything. The Nightfall. This is the one where it blooms in response to a sunset. So we need to add... oh, I was hoping the projector might be a thing that we can add, but it isn't. We can definitely add that, because that's related to it. Apparently there are 4 more things to find. There's only 2 more things on this list. And I don't think the moths are relevant to this plant. So what are we missing? We missed stuff up here. The rusty pig, interestingly, is not a clue. I was hoping it might be. Oh, did we look at this before? We looked at the yeah, we looked at this chart of the moths. Oh yeah, we didn't look at the other things in here. Hello, Liari. Welcome. Thank you for dimming your flower. Moth spotting calendar for southwest England. Designed and printed by the English Society of Lepidopterists. And then we can spin it to get all the months. I wonder if such a thing exists in reality. That would be nice. I noticed that it goes straight from October to March, and March is blank, which makes me wonder why it didn't just go from October to April. Apparently you can't see any moths in March, or January, or February. But then the rest of the year, you can see all kinds. So yeah, we need to use this and this and this to solve a moth-related puzzle. The flower-growing companion. Trapped moths. Sometimes a moth can become trapped inside a flower bud if it closes in the morning. The moth is then forced to use the flower bud as a resting place until it opens again later. Some flowers only bloom for short periods during the year, so if the moth is unlucky, the flower bud won't open again until many months later. Okay, there's nothing on the back. 130. That's a lot, says the Ari. It is a lot, yes. Thank you for your dedicated viewership of my streams. Right, hold on. Are the moths... Maybe the moths are for this, then. Yeah, because we've done the mushroom, and we've done the... We haven't done this one yet, but we've got all the clues for it. Okay, never mind. The moths must be related to this same thing then. So we need to figure out a species of moth and a sunset colour, I guess. So we have the painting. Oops. We have the moth poster. We have the trap moths and we have the moth calendar. Is that everything? Okay, that is everything. Right, we've now collected all the things. We need to do the actual puzzle solving. So I need to go and find this, and we'll try and solve this thing. So we need the nightfall seed, which is that one. And then in order to cause it to bloom, I believe we need to shine the right colours of light on it. And the light colours were... Where were they? Oh, they were downstairs, weren't they? They were in the... No. Emma, where are you going? I'm lost. I couldn't live in a house this big because I'd never remember where anything was. There's definitely a room full of paintings of sunsets. Here it is. It's this one. Yeah. So one of these sunsets, they've all got different times of year associated with them. They've all got a date on them. And I think we need to find the moth that is the same date. I do wish this game let you carry things around with you. Like if I could just bring the moth calendar here and compare it against the sunset paintings, but I can't. And then somewhere there is... There's a painting of this flower with a moth on it. I remember seeing it, and I can't remember where it is now. This one? No, that's the one with the eggs on it. For the fur. And this is for the other plant. Come on, Emma, you can figure this out. Yeah, is this the one? So we're looking for a moth with wings like that. And then the moth's poster is here. At least the moth's poster is near. So of those, I think the one that matches this is the garden tiger moth, because it's got those very distinctive bluish grey spots on the red bit and then the brown bit on top. So garden tiger moth. Oh, it is. Okay, garden tiger moth is out in September. So then I need to go and find the sunset that happens in September. Which was in here. May, July, October, April, August, September. Blue, yellow, orange, red. Honestly, the most realistic sunset out of all of them, I think. Also, you can play a game of which LGBT identity is this painting. This one is clearly bi. I think that's lesbian. I think that's pan. Not sure about these ones. Now, I don't know if that means we put them in the projector in the order blue, yellow, orange, red, or red, orange, yellow, blue. We'll try blue, yellow, orange, red first. Wait, no, not that way. This way. No, not that way. This way. Okay. We don't get to use my favourite colour, unfortunately. Blue, yellow, orange, red. It worked! We have a flower. Yes! Never has that emote been so appropriate, Harry. Okay. Seeing the nightfall bloom is a rare event. Flower only blooms with September sunsets. Night pollinators active in September, such as the garden tiger, often get trapped once the bud closes for the rest of the year. I don't know. If I was a moth, I feel like I could fight my way out of a flower bud. Maybe not. Okay. Well. I don't know what time of year it is and whether this plant is going to be happy that we've forced it to flower, but let's put it down on a sunny windowsill somewhere and hope for the best. There you go. So that leaves the brook chalice. Brook chalice. So this is the one where we need to know about the rivers. Each of these rivers, and these are real rivers in Somerset, have different average temperatures and different numbers of bridges, apparently. I think what we need to do is water the plant with water of that temperature. We need to figure out which river it's found in. And we read about a bunch of stuff about that, and I think I was so busy getting annoyed at the historical inaccuracy that I didn't actually take on board what it said. Oh no, I was pissed off at these guys for contaminating the ecosystem. Yeah. This names 3 of the rivers. But it doesn't say which one. Yeah. I wonder if the idea is that this plant counteracts the pollution that this is on about. So these rivers are now polluted because they were cleared of weeds, and then the River Froom not being affected means that the weeds are still there. So maybe that's what they want me to do. Although then I'm not sure what this thing about the number of bridges has to do with anything. But the River Froom is 25 degrees, so let's just try putting... Well, it's not, but it is in the game. If you believe the River Froom is really 25 degrees, I invite you to go swimming in it. But let's test that theory. 5. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. How warm would it be for a British river to be 25 degrees? Indeed, Harry. Just because the air temperature is higher doesn't mean the groundwater temperature changes. Especially around here. The river, the Chew, Summer and Cam all have their sources in the Mendips, which are limestone, which means that their sources are springs. So rain falls on the Mendips, soaks into cracks in the limestone, goes into cave systems, and then pops out somewhere else. So the groundwater temperature is consistent all year round, and yeah, it's probably about 5 degrees, I would say. Hello, Best Alice. Welcome in. Thank you for redeeming your flower. This doesn't appear to have worked. Okay, that was clearly the wrong river then. Yeah, that's up to 25, didn't I? Yes, okay. Let's see. I probably missed something somewhere. That was the pipes that I had to do. Okay, I just got an achievement for flushing the toilet. I don't think that's part of the puzzle, but I got an achievement for it. Alice says, "Hope you're enjoying the game. Seems like it was made for you." Um, I am definitely enjoying it, Alice, and I'm glad that Izzy drew my attention to its existence. I have been slightly annoyed at times by the inaccuracy of the game compared to real life. Because not only is it about botany, it is set in Somerset, where I live. Anyway, let me see if I can find something about the water needing to be a different temperature. No. Yeah, don't hunt near the rivers. Move the weeds. Yeah, we get that, but the river that they hadn't removed weeds from was the River Froom. I could just try all the temperatures until I find one that works. That is also a thing that I could do. There's not that many. You could also just sit here. That's about the sound part. I mean, there's only like 6 possible temperatures. I could just try them all. Water, I saw the brook chalice blooming. Yes. But you didn't say where. Word of advice to anyone who wants to tell their botanist friends about an interesting plant they saw. Tell us where you saw it. So that we can go there and check. I don't think there was anything up here about the water. Okay, new plan. Try different temperatures until it works. No? Harry says, I saw a very rare flower earlier, somewhere around here. Followed by a globe emoji. Thank you, Harry. that's not exaggerating the sort of information we get sometimes. Someone's seen a flower, but they don't know what it was or where they saw it. Okay, well clearly the answer is none of the above then. Got it. 80-degree water for you. That's what you get for not cooperating. Okay, the fact that that doesn't kill the plant is actually quite impressive. How about 0? Does this cause ice to come out? No. Okay. LT Bago says, idea. Say you found a rare plant, but can only show people where it is, not tell them. Lure cute botanists to your area. Honestly, there's some truth to that. Not so much now in the days of GPS, but it used to be that, yeah, if you wanted to find particularly rare plants, basically somebody who'd seen it before had to go with you to show you where it was. And that is still the case for the records that are deemed sensitive because they're really rare. The ones that I'm not allowed to see where it is in the database, and the public definitely aren't allowed to see where it is. The only way that I would see those plants would be to go on an organised visit to the site with an expert who knows where it is. As far as luring cute botanists to your area, I don't know about that. I cannot confirm if that method works. I haven't had any success with it myself. But it's got to be worth a shot. Altibago has recently moved to an area that I don't know much about the botanical organisations in that area and how much recording is being done and that sort of thing. I don't really know for that area. So something I'll have to look at, because I know some areas of the country are much better recorded than other areas. I know that much. Okay, well, we did try all those different temperatures. I suppose the other question is, do we actually need to contaminate the water ourselves? Like, surely it doesn't require the water to be polluted to bloom, or maybe that's what this is saying. Maybe it does. Interesting thought. So I still think it is 25. Let me set the temperature back to that. And then I have had a thought about how we might make the water contaminated. It involves this rusty pig. Okay. Water is now rusty. I am not having a bath in here ever again. But at least the flower has bloomed. Yeah, turns out the pig is actually required for puzzle solving, unlike the ducks. Right, well, so every flower that we had so far, I have been able to pick up and carry around the house. This one looks like that might be difficult. I would have to carry the whole bathtub around. The brook chalice prefers to grow in rivers with a temperature of 25 degrees. If that were true, it would not be found in the UK, I can tell you that. Maybe in some tropical areas. Plant naturally filters the water from rust and metal. Unfortunately, they get removed often as most people prefer their ponds to be weed-free. Yeah, I mean, that could plausibly survive in the wild if it was growing on rocks that were rich in iron oxide, perhaps. Does seem a bit of an ecological niche that probably wouldn't happen, but who knows? Oh, you can? Okay, I was assuming you wouldn't be able to pick it up because... Okay, I can still pick up this specific one. Well, it feels like it's an aquatic plant, so surely I should leave it in the water where it's happy. So I will do that. Also, we can have our rusty pig back. Right, I just had the notification that we've had another gatehouse delivery. Maybe my Amazon package is finally here. I don't think, by the way, that this house is up to modern fire code. It only has one exit, which is a bit convoluted to get to. And all the windows are obstructed by plants. Right then. A key. The formal garden key. Okay, we might finally be able to access the gazebo that we've been seeing out the window for the last 2 streams. And a letter. Lady Arabella, I apologise wholeheartedly for accidentally taking the key to the formal garden with me. It was in my pocket, and I had simply forgotten it was there. I didn't want to disturb your research, so I've left the key in the basket here for you. Well, thank you, Jimmy. Let's go and have a look at the formal garden, shall we? If I remember correctly, there was a gate here. And take a quick shower first. Oh, locked from other side. Okay, this is not how we get in. Who has a garden gate that can only be unlocked from one side? Okay, and we still can't go this way, even though there's only a table. Harry says, forgetting work keys in your pocket. That would never happen. I wonder if Harry is implying that he has done just that in the past. Maybe. Okay, how do we get into the formal garden then? We have to go all the way round. Yes, we have to go all the way round. Wait. Okay. This is the way. Altibago says, I DM'd you the 2021 rare plant register from the county. Looks like there's at least some recording going on. Well, that's good to hear. Yes, there are some. I know there are some areas of Wales that have hardly any recording going on. As in, I personally have made more records in the last 5 years than entire Welsh counties. But that was mostly South Wales and Central, like the bit in the middle where no one lives. Things like Radnorshire, which is a historic county that doesn't exist anymore, but it existed when the botanical recording counties were drawn up. I think that's had 4 records submitted for it since 2020. So that's definitely not active. But North Wales is a bit more active, I think. Hello there, welcome in. A picnic! More wasted food that I can't eat to get mad about. Bonnet's illustrated penny paper. It was a message. A local man reports mystery signal. Elfie! Hello. Thank you for being first. Thank you for being not only first, but the first person to try out my new first sound alert. As I hinted in my Discord, I have been working on custom sound alerts for follows and redeems and stuff like that. I haven't done all of them yet. The subscription sound alert is still the default one, and the bits one is still the default one. But I am working on custom ones. That was a nice alert, says Harry. Thank you. Leia says, is that like the one used for cooking, or is it pretend time? So all modern herbs they are descendants of some wild plant. They've quite often been bred to be larger or produce more of the useful part of the plant. But you could certainly use wild thyme for cooking if you wanted to. And yeah, I mean, not just herbs, of course. You know, we get garlic is derived from wild garlic. Carrot is derived from wild carrot. In the UK, we have a lot of wild basil, also known as marjoram. We have a lot of wild thyme. Domesticated thyme. Well, I mean, yes. The plants that we eat and the plants that we grow in our gardens are all domesticated versions. I mean, just as we domesticated animals for food, we domesticated plants for food as well. If you compare, for example, modern strawberries to wild strawberries, they are much, much bigger, and they also taste different. Same if you compare modern apples to wild apples, which are about that big. And obviously, in other countries, things like bananas and oranges are very different as well. Probably the single most domesticated plant is brassica or cabbage. So cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, lettuce, and a couple of other things. Those are all the same species. They're all the same wild species, which has been taken and then it's been selectively bred in different ways to emphasize different parts of the plant. If you breed it to have large flowers, you get broccoli. If you breed it to have large buds, you get Brussels sprouts. You breed it to have large leaves, you get cabbage. But it all started life as the same plant. And then you have cereal crops. So corn, for example. Wild corn is the the seed pod is about that big and really, really hard. And it's frankly amazing that humans bothered trying to eat it at all. But obviously, over thousands of years, it's been selectively bred to have a much, much bigger, much more edible stalk. And the same is true of every other cereal crop: wheat, oats, barley. Wild oats are still a thing in the UK. Often found growing in fields of cultivated oats because they are obviously well suited to it. And you can tell because they're much, much smaller and the seeds are much, much harder. So yeah, tamed plants, domesticated plants, call them what you like, that is a very real thing. Leia says, I know wild parsnip will give you a nasty rash. Yes, so wild parsnip, also a thing you find. Wild parsnip, wild onion, wild garlic, as I say. You could definitely make, an entire meal out of wild plants if you wanted to, but the thing is, we did domesticate them for a reason. You'll find you don't have very much, and it doesn't taste very good compared to the ones that have had hundreds of years of selective breeding to enhance the flavour and the size. Leia says, that's actually so interesting. I don't think I would have thought about those on my own, but seeing how different those all have the same origin is wild, but really interesting. Yes. And it's Brassica is the most sort of famous example, but there are other examples. Like all types of mustard are basically the same plant and things like that. Anyway, I have seen the dreaded C word on this message, but I'm gonna have to read it anyway. Local man reports mystery signal. A gentleman farmer has reported sightings of mysterious blinking lights coming from caves near his home in Cheddar. In his own words, I was walking my dog and lost track of time a little. It soon became dark and I decided to make the walk back home. On the way to my house is a tiny cave, and as I walked by, I noticed a blinking light pattern cast from the cave entrance. I was sure it was one of those Morse code messages. When I approached the cave, the light source vanished, and nobody was there. I'm convinced that what I saw was the Morse code abbreviation for attention. I will never forget that one abbreviation, as it was the first message I learned in Morse code. Local authorities have assured our journalists that there has been no recent military activity or exercises in the area, so the mystery remains unsolved. So, if this were to happen in real life, there would be a very obvious explanation for it. People like caving recreationally, especially on the Mendip Hills, which Cheddar is on the edge of, because they're made of limestone, and limestone naturally forms big cave networks when water runs through it. Such as Wookie Hole Caves, which are just a couple of miles down the road from Cheddar. One of the biggest show caves in the world. It's been sort of had staircases and things put in so that the public can safely explore it. But part of it is flooded and used for cave diving, and it's actually used to train cave divers from all over the world. So cave divers from all over the world will come to Wookie Hole Caves to learn how to cave dive because it's a very controlled environment. You've got this passage where you have to dive down and swim under the water and come back up again, but both ends are in the show cave, so they're permanently lit. They've got lighting wired in. They're easily accessible. So compared to most caves, like cave diving is probably the single, maybe not the single, but it's one of the most dangerous hobbies you can have. So by comparison, this is a safe environment to do it in. But there are many, many other dry caves. Particularly, there's a village called Priddy, not far from where I live. And anytime you drive past there or walk through there, there's always like a minibus with a bunch of people in brightly coloured overalls with helmets on, about to go down a cave. And from Priddy, they've mapped out a whole network, like way under the Mendips. So if you saw a strange light coming from a cave, what you have seen is the head torch of a caver, and if they're flashing attention in Morse code, somebody's probably injured in a cave and needs help. Like, I realise it's going to be some sort of glow-in-the-dark plant or something, but if that would not be your first thought if that happened in real life. Anyway, just... I'm going to keep doing this with this game, but just the fact that it's talking about Cheddar, and this is, very, very local to me. We're talking 10 minutes down the road from me, all these places, so... Harry has been down Cheddar. He hasn't been into the caves. Because, you have to pay to go in. It's quite expensive, but... We've driven through Cheddar Gorge. LT Bago says, similar to light seen over swamps from swamp gas, this was simply an illusion. The cheese gas emitted from the cheese caves. Well, so the cheese caves are a thing. They do age the cheddar in caves. But not just some random cave next to some guy's house without telling it. That would be like... Imagine just walking to your house and then suddenly you discover a cave full of cheese. I mean, it wouldn't be full of cheese for very long, let me tell you that. Leia says, I was once helping a friend at their family farm and came in contact with wild parsnip and had this giant blistering rash, went to the ER and they had no clue, gave me a bunch of stuff that didn't work. So after a week of research, I found out it was the wild parsnip that did me dirty. Yeah, there's a few plants in the UK that are pretty hazardous to come into contact with. The obvious one is stinging nettles, but at the same time, like, it's only a mild rash. It does go away quite quickly. Everyone knows about them from birth because of how common they are. More dangerous, in my opinion, are things like hogweed. If you get the sap of hogweed on you, it can cause severe burns, which in some cases can be permanent. If you get severe burns from hogweed sap, for the rest of your life, any time that patch of skin is exposed to sunlight, it will go itchy. So it's a really, really nasty thing. And then we have many poisonous plants, like monkshood. Monkshood, 1 gram of the sap will kill you. And that is a wild plant. Not many places in the UK, but there are places in the UK where you can just find this plant growing by the side of the road. So, yeah. So yes, first rule of botany, don't touch things if you don't know what they are. Especially don't try and eat them. There's so many people like to get into foraging rather than like learning botany first. And I think that's dangerous, because if you're approaching nature with the mindset of, I want to eat these things, that's not the right mindset to approach nature with. It just isn't. Agriculture has been around a long time. We've done a very good job of identifying which things are safe to eat and growing them and putting them in supermarkets for you to buy. And those, if it tastes good, we know it tastes good, and you can buy it. Like, if it's still out there in the wild, maybe don't bother. Leia asks if caves is the C word. I think caves, cheese, and cheddar are all on the list of banned subjects at this point. There says, I watched a documentary on Netflix called The Deepest Breath about freediving, and by proxy mind of cave diving. And it's like I couldn't believe it. Yes, it is crazy what people will do. Let's go into a confined space with no oxygen, and if you kick up any dirt, you're completely blind. And also, it's never been mapped out because nobody's been stupid enough to go down here before. Turns out a lot of people die doing it. There are a couple of caves in the UK that are no longer allowed to be explored because they are basically functioning as graves for the last person who went in there. LT Bago says, I've been into White Scar Cave in Yorkshire. That's really a show cave, though, no real danger. Yes, so there are a lot of show caves where, a proper doorway has been cut and they've added stairs and they've wired in lights and they have a guide take you round. There's a lot of those. There are also disused mines where they'll do that. I've been around a slate mine in North Wales. There's no danger for that because it's all been assessed. Health and safety checks have been passed. One thing I have also done, so there's like a step up from that. There's a show cave where it's just a visitor attraction. You just pay money to go in. One step up from that is you go down a cave that is properly mapped out, and you have an experienced guide with you, but the cave has not been modified to make it visitor friendly. So you have to crawl on your stomach through a gap that's only that tall and that sort of thing, and climb up things rather than just having some stairs. I have been down one of them. It was a long time ago and I didn't really enjoy it. I felt claustrophobic the entire time, but I have done it. And then next thing up from that is anything involving water and uncharted caves where you need to be careful that you don't fall down a hole and you can't get back out again. Which unfortunately does happen. Leia says, I was inside an active extinct volcano in Portugal and it was kind of like a cave, but with carbon. Yeah, so the other thing is gases of various sorts, especially in coal mines, of course. Famously, so that's why they took canaries down them to pick up on low concentrations of the gases. Ren, hello. You're probably not hearing me because you've already lurked, but thank you for the lurk. Thank you for dropping by. So many people die doing it. It's crazy. Yeah. So there's caving and there's cave diving. It's a bit like skydiving with a parachute versus those wingsuit things. It's like, let's take what's already a dangerous extreme sport, but there are ways to do it relatively safely, and just remove all of the safety factors. That's sort of what it's like. Leia says, the Azores is all volcanic rock, so the source is often there. It last erupted like 500 years ago. Then the occasional earthquake kicks up gases, and there you have it. Yes, that makes sense. Yes, no recent volcanic activity in the UK, obviously, but some parts of the UK are actually, like Edinburgh, is basically on the side of an ancient volcano. So geologically speaking, sometimes there are volcanic elements, but yeah. The UK is pretty tame in terms of earthquakes, volcanoes. We don't have any of that stuff. But we do have limestone, and limestone, you get very large caves. And then, of course, you also get cave-ins and collapsing sinkholes opening up because the water has eroded all the support away. And we also have a big legacy of coal mining in the area. So we have mine shafts that like to collapse. So yeah, the ground being dangerous is definitely a thing that we have here. Altibago says, I did drink from the devil's tongue in White Scar. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. I haven't heard of that, but I assume it's some sort of natural spring. In which case, if you are drinking directly from the source, you're usually fine. And not like a stagnant pond that's been filled from the source. I mean, the worst that can happen then is something like the water is full of sulfur and tastes horrible. But even then, what happens if the water is full of sulfur and tastes horrible is the Victorians go, this must have healing powers. Let's build a spa town here and sell it to people. Leia says, I've been skydiving tandem and solo. I take that every day over free diving. I was a lifeguard and I'm still a very strong swimmer, and I would not be messing with cave diving. I respect the water too much. Mother Nature works in mysterious ways and the house always wins. I agree, Leia. I did not know you'd been solo skydiving. That's impressive. Yeah, I was saying that skydiving is the equivalent of dry caving, and then cave diving is more like a wingsuit where one wrong move and you are just a smear on a cliff face somewhere. Which, yeah, do not. It is not Emma's place to tell anyone what they should or should not do, but Emma does not recommend attempting any of the stunts discussed in this stream. I had to do this crazy course before they would let me, says Leia. It's probably for the best that they make you do it. Leia says the devil has been around forever. Drink his water, it's like the fountain of youth. Maybe. Okay, let's actually play the game, shall we? So we just unlocked this area. We just came through this gate. And came across this unfortunately abandoned picnic where I can't eat any of the food. It's very disappointing. We have okay, this pond has seen better days. Those lilies look a bit dry. I wonder if we have a way to resolve that situation. That's where we were just a moment ago. What is this? Some seeds. Fool's Emerald. A friend gifted me these seeds, so I don't know too much about them yet. So there are plants with fools in the name. Like real wild plants. There's Fool's Watercress, which looks very much like watercress but doesn't taste as good. There's also Fool's Parsley. Aha, the marvel of bioluminescence. This is going back to the caves that we were just talking about. In the darker corners of our world, there are plants and organisms that are able to produce their own light. These plants, fungi and insects are most often found in areas of low light, such as dark forests, deep oceans, and gloomy caves. Recent discoveries show that chemicals such as luciferin are responsible for this glowing effect. It is not known what this glowing effect is used for, but it could be for communication with others of the same species or to attract pollinators or food. Scientists believe there are many bioluminescent species waiting to be discovered. As far as I know, we don't have any bioluminescent plants in the UK, although I'm willing to be proved wrong. We probably don't have any species waiting to be discovered either. We were still discovering new species as recently as 2010, in Cheddar Gorge, no less. But that it wasn't discovering a new species in the way that people think. It was, we've done some DNA testing on these trees that we've known about for centuries, and it turns out that the ones on that side of the hill are a different species from the ones on that side of the hill. It was that sort of, this technically classifies as a new species, but we already knew it existed. Um, that's the sort of discovery that tends to happen nowadays. Chemical compounds in wildflowers. Okay. I mean, yeah, these are accurate. There is opium in poppies. There's not much opium in your typical garden poppy, I have to say, but there is. So these are all real plants, with the exception of the fool's emerald, which has the luciferin that we were just reading about. I noticed they've sort of tried to draw the skeletal structures of some molecules there, which is interesting. I am not a chemist. I know how the structure kind of, I know what it means, like which atoms the molecule is made out of. I don't know, like, what the consequence of that is, what it means if a molecule has like extra rings on it. I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff, and I'm sure it's fascinating. Sincerest greetings. Dearest Arabella, I was delighted after our recent mentoring session. You do excellent work as a fellow scholar of the natural world. I recall the spring dance shrub that once grew in your garden before you departed on your travels. How wonderful it would be to see it growing again. I have been compiling plant specimens that require pollination to mature into their adult stage. I wonder if the spring dance shrub is one of these plants. Your affectionate friend, Lavinia. Okay, so Lavinia is talking about this plant, spring dance shrub, which we haven't found the seeds for yet. This flowering bush used to grow in the gardens, but has completely disappeared when I was off on my travels. Okay. That is a mystery for us to solve then. Hopefully we can find a seed for it, at least. Leia says, when I worked in corrections parole, you'd have people tell you they bombed their drug test because they had a poppy seed bagel. It was like, that's not how it works. Yeah, I think it is technically possible to fail a drug test if you eat like an entire tin of poppy seeds, but not from one bagel. Mr. Bennett, the telegraph you ordered arrived while you were at the farmer's market. They delivered it by boat. I left it at the boathouse, since I didn't know where you'd like to keep it. There appears to be a Morse code manual inside the case as well. I forgot, we do have a boathouse in this vast estate. I did see it from the window earlier. Yes. As I say, please do not watch this and think this is the typical house of a Somerset botanist, because it really isn't. My sweet Hazel. Oh, I remember. I'd forgotten that there was a character in this game called Hazel. Hazel Azazelzel isn't here. She would love this. My sweet Hazel, are you keeping well today? Jimmy's only gone and broken the lawnmower again. If it weren't for my war injury, I wouldn't be letting him loose with the mower. He ran over some hard object down in the long grass near the pond. I had a brief look around and I couldn't see anything. Sometimes I wonder about that boy's sensibilities. Save me some of your lovely scones. Yours always, Mr. Bennett. Well, it's not addressed to us, but we've read it anyway. We are not Hazel. Altibago says, no bioluminescent plants, you're right. Yes, so yes, there are bioluminescent fungi and algae, and of course there's bioluminescent insects as well, but not specifically plants. But maybe there are elsewhere in the world. So okay, we have some seaweed, wood ash, guano, manure, coffee, and peat. Don't get this one mixed up with this one. I'm not accepting an offer of a cup of coffee from anybody who lives in this house. I'm just saying. The flower growing companion. Tips for growing hydrangeas. Hydrangeas are beautiful flowers that contain anthocyanin, which is a pigment that can change colour depending on the pH level of its environment. The colours can vary between red, purple and blue. That is actually true, mostly. That is a real thing. Hydrangeas do change their colour. New materials for garden pots, terracotta or granite. Yeah, there's a reason that pots are made out of terracotta. I'm. The mind boggles to think how long it would take to carve a pot out of granite, versus just making one with clay. Sandstone, marble, and obsidian. Yeah, these are not practical materials for pots. Nether portals, yes, but not pots. Here's all the different stone pots that we have available. I suspect we'll need to plant a plant in one of them at some point. Leia says, I have hydrangeas in my backyard. It's a purple, blue, indigo colour. I have one that my parents gave me, but it doesn't grow very well in my garden, so it's only got like 2 flowers on it. And they're actually a pinkish colour, but I don't know what that means. A common mistake in many UK offices where the coffee, yeah, says Divago. Putting one of these things in instead of the coffee, yes. I've never drunk. I don't drink tea or coffee. I just don't really drink hot drinks. Somebody's going to say, oh, you're not really British now. I said I don't like tea. Just a personal preference. Okay, we have a spring dance shrub seed, and we are finally in the gazebo. We were staring at this thing from the house and saying, I wish there was a way down there. Now there is. We can sit here and we could admire our garden. Isn't this nice? We should probably play the game though. Leia says, like the Canadian that doesn't like maple syrup. Well, so the thing is, Leia, at least maple syrup is actually native to Canada. You know, you do have maple trees there. As opposed to tea, which doesn't grow in the UK at all. The only reason we have a history of drinking it is because we colonised the places where it grows, and that might possibly be a bit of history that's not really worth dwelling on, so I'm fine with tea drinking as a practice. It's just, you know, suggesting that somebody is not a real Brit unless they drink tea is maybe taking it a bit far. Harry says, have you not seen the vast tea plantations of Yorkshire? So this is the thing. You go to a British supermarket, and there are these big boxes labelled Yorkshire tea. And, yes. I know Yorkshire is a big county, but I don't think it extends as far as Africa. Is that the South Riding of Yorkshire, Harry? The mythical Lost South Riding is actually just below Ethiopia. Colonization, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, yeah, it's the reason why we drink tea. Because we went to places that drank tea, and we're like, I'll have some of that if you don't mind. Aha, soil pH research. Okay, I see why we've got all those weird pots and weird ingredients now. We need to try to match the pH that a plant needs. We don't know what pH that is yet, but some combination of those ingredients and the pot will do it for us. Leia says Yorkshire pudding. Why isn't this pudding? Shut up, it's delicious. Well, so the thing is with that one, at least Yorkshire pudding does come from Yorkshire. All the ingredients needed to make a Yorkshire pudding can be found in Yorkshire, as opposed to Yorkshire tea. Leia says some people call it Yorkshire, and it makes my eyes twitch. Yeah, I mean, people who come from places that don't call their counties shires or shears, if just looking at the word and rhyming it with fire and hire and stuff, English is confusing, so I can excuse that. But yes, we do not say shire, we say shear. We don't even say sheer. Like, we don't really pronounce the R at all. It's just Worcestershire, Gloucestershire. Fun fact, the word shear is where the word sheriff comes from. So a sheriff is in charge of a shear. The Sheriff of Nottingham is in charge of Nottinghamshire. Like a prince is in charge of a principality, or a duke is in charge of a duchy, or a king is in charge of a kingdom. A sheriff is in charge of a shire. Also, fun fact, historically, most of the counties in England had shire in their names. Nowadays, most of them don't. Like Yorkshire always does. And there's a few others like Nottinghamshire. But for example, Devon was once Devonshire, and now the official name of the county is just Devon. But you see the word Devonshire sometimes, especially on food products that want to sound traditional and local. And even Somerset was once called Somersetshire. That was the name of the county. We're talking, 400 years ago. You had Dorsetshire, you had Somersetshire. Wiltshire is still Wiltshire, Gloucestershire is still Gloucestershire. I think the ones that have retained the shire tend to be the ones that have a significant place, a town or city within them that is the name without shire. So the county town of Gloucestershire is Gloucester, and the county town of Worcestershire is Worcester, and the county town of Yorkshire is York. You can't just call Gloucestershire Gloucester because there's a place called Gloucester. But there isn't the county town of Somerset is Taunton. There is no town called Somerset. So you don't have to call it Somersetshire. And there's no town called Devon. So I think that might be why the shire got dropped. But yeah, originally they all had shire on them. Leia says, I was today years old. Well, happy today birthday, Leia. Yeah, I know a lot of obscure etymology and stuff like that. Thank you for subscribing to Emma Facts. That's what I do on these streams, especially with this game. For some reason, I just end up reciting facts to my audience. Hello, Best Cass. So good to see you. I hope you're having a good Friday. It's more like shire. Yeah, definitely shire rather than shire. In modern English, referring to English counties. The fictional place in Lord of the Rings is called the Shire. That's something else. me do a shout out for best Lottle friend Cass, who is awesome and has the cutest emotes ever. I mean, look at that one there. Just look at it. What could be cuter than a rainbow axolotl? Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, so we're just looking at this chart, which is going to show us pH levels. Once again, the pedant in me wants to point out that this is not realistic. Soil pH, it does vary, but it doesn't vary by the amount indicated in this chart. So the pH scale, 0 is like the strongest possible acid, 14 is the strongest possible alkali, and 7 is neutral. Soil pH varies from about 6.5 to about 7.5. If you have soil with a pH of 0.5, that's not soil, that's concentrated hydrochloric acid, and your plant is going to dissolve when you plant it, as are your fingers and the shovel that you're digging it with. Likewise, 13.2 is extremely strong alkaline. Yeah, almost all the entries on this list that don't start with a 5, 6, 7, or 8 would be classified as hazardous materials. So, yeah, that's... but that's okay. We can make some hydrochloric acid if that's what the game wants us to do. Oh, okay. Anthocyanins research. So, again, this is grounded in reality. Hydrangeas do change colour based on the conditions they're planted in. You don't need to get the pH as low as 3 to make them go blue. Again, soil pH varies from about 6.5 to about 7.5. So this scale is somewhat true, but it would be much more compressed than that. There are chemicals available known as indicators, which do produce a colour change over a wide range of pH. There's one particular blend of chemicals known as universal indicator, which you can drop into pretty much any solution, and it will turn any colour of the rainbow to indicate a pH. But hydrangeas do not do that. El Tibago says there are several towns in the US called Somerset and one in South Africa. Yes, and there's also Somerset Island in the northern reaches of Canada. Probably Australia, New Zealand have a Somerset somewhere as well. Yes. One of the main exports of the colonial period was place names. Cass says Midsummer Murders is set in Somerset, right? So, interesting fact about that. There is a real place, because it's not spelt midsummer as in midsummer. The name of the show about the murders, it's spelt like that. And there is a real town in Somerset called Midsomer Norton, which is spelt like that. But that's not where the show was filmed. The show was filmed somewhere in Oxfordshire, I think. Midsomer Norton is not a quaint, picturesque village. It's an old mining town. And, I mean, it's fine, but it's nothing pretty. Like, it has an industrial estate and a bunch of council houses. It looks like any other town. So I don't think they'd have wanted to film the series there. They just thought it sounded like a pretty name. And the reason that the place is called Midsummer is because it is located on the River Summer. And we know about the River Summer because that's just been in this game. That's one of the rivers that was on the river poster. So that's where Midsummer comes from. It's in the middle of the Summer Valley, through which flows the River Summer. But first of all, it's not a quaint village as depicted in the TV show. And second, and perhaps most importantly, people aren't being constantly murdered there. I should stress that. With how long that show ran for, I think the entire population of the village would have to have been murdered several times over. That part is not realistic. I should probably stress that before I put anyone off ever coming to Somerset. Letter from Hazel. Dear Mr. Bennet, thank you so much for the lovely bunch of rhubarb from your neighbour's garden. No, from your nephew's garden, sorry. He needn't have sent anything in return for the herbal poultice I gave him for his little one, but I am grateful all the same. I know he hasn't the money to fetch the doctor. Since you said he cannot read a note, please send him my thanks when you see him. Faithful yours, Hazel. Harry says, I survived my trip to Somerset. Ah, well, you had an experienced guide with you, Harry. No, I think in terms of crime statistics, Somerset is actually one of the safest parts of the country. Because it's mostly rural. There's not much crime happening because there's not much of anything happening. While we're on the subject of letters from Hazel, there is actually something I wanted to show everyone. Particularly sharp-eyed viewers may have spotted something new in my stream background. And very clever viewers might have noticed that that object is in Hazel Azazelzel colours. I got a postcard from Hazel. There's VTuber on the back. And she drew a flower for me. It was so kind of her. So yeah, if anyone's wondering, this is not some new pride flag that you need to learn. This is the Hazel Azazelzel flag. Purple, pink and orange. And much like my Verdsky card, which I have had framed, it is going to have a permanent place on my streamer shelf. For now, it's just being held by the penguin. I'm very, very grateful to Hazel for sending me that, and I am going to give Hazel a shout out as a thank you. Shout out. Now, this is the tricky part. I've got to spell her name, and she's not here. Hazel Azazelzel. Okay, I think I got it right. If I got it wrong, let me know. But yes, you too could have your very own purple, pink, and orange card. Hello, Pro Stoic. Thank you for the lurk. Hazel Azazel. Hazel Azazel. I think I got it right. Altibago says there is a theory that Father Brown commits all the crimes in the British show of the same name and investigates them to cover it up. Yeah, I mean, I think so too, right? In fact, I reckon that's the case for most detective shows. Like Poirot, I reckon he did most of the murders himself as well. And came up with some nonsense explanation to pin it on someone else. Okay. We are exploring the garden very slowly today. Let's continue. Letter about mentoring. Dear Miss Green, I have recently heard of your involvement in the mentoring of aspiring botanists. Botany is a field that demands a thorough understanding of its complexities, and while I admire your dedication, the saying "the blind leading the blind" does come to mind. All jests aside, I do hope your endeavours in mentoring will yield some semblance of progress. Sincerely, Professor Thornton. Well, obviously I don't agree with any of that. Mentoring is very important. There is a real shortage of interest in botany and resources for people who are interested. So anything that anyone does should be encouraged. It is my opinion. Harry says I did not have her very simple to spell username in my notes, so I could not do the shout out. Is that Harry is very, very organised and has extensive notes about all of his favourite streamers, including me, apparently. But thank you, Harry. Ah, the key to the boathouse. Now all we have to do is find where the boathouse is. And some birds. Attracting birds with colour. So apparently, this is some sort of phrenology level pseudoscience here. Apparently birds like certain colours. Birds do like certain seeds if they are seed-eating birds. But yeah, none of this is true. But the birds are real. So bullfinches and robins like red flowers. Bluebirds and jay like blue flowers. Blackbirds, goldfinches and warblers like yellow flowers. Green woodpeckers and willow tits like purple flowers. And golden orioles like orange flowers. Well, I like purple flowers, so I guess that makes me a willow tit. The more you know. It's a bit suspicious that the birds like the colour of flower that the colour of the bird is, apart from these ones. I don't think there are any British bird species that have purple on them. Purple is quite rare in nature. Hello, Creep Twin. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good Friday. How are you? I liked what I played of this game. Very peaceful. This is a very peaceful game. This is my third stream of it. However, I have been going extremely slowly in this game. Because I keep getting distracted by chat, and then even when I am playing the game, I end up running around, not quite sure what I'm supposed to be doing. But it is very peaceful. I like the graphics, and I guess I should say I have a personal connection with the game. I mean, I don't know the developer or anything, but it's about botany and it's set in Somerset, and I am a botanist and I live in Somerset. So it's more I play this game and I keep I'm constantly pointing out all the inaccuracies in it because I'm pedantic like that. Creep Twin says I'm doing okay. Lots of anxiety today, but enjoying keeping my favourite streamers on. Yes, hugs for Creep Twin, definitely. Let's offer hugs. There we go. Creep Twin, if there's anything you'd like to talk about, then I'm happy to do so, but obviously no pressure. If you just want to enjoy the stream, then please do. And I hope things work out well for you soon. Creep Twin says that's really cool. I love pointing out inaccuracies and things. Yes, I am. I'm not a professional botanist. I am just a volunteer, but I am a botanist in real life. Okay, I feel like the next step is to visit the boathouse. Now that we have the key. Oh, we can move the bird feeder. Interesting. That will probably be significant. Question is, how do you get to the boathouse? Bulrushes, aka the hot dog plant. Don't eat one of them. It doesn't taste as nice as you might think. A spiritualism book. Okay. My dearest cousin, whilst I hold a deep fascination for the pursuit of knowledge and science, I must admit that the subject of spiritualism is not one that particularly captivates me. Therefore, I must return this book to you. However, I appreciate your efforts in sharing your interests with me. With affection, Arabella. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that this character isn't interested in spiritualism. Scientifically minded people tend not to be, I think. I mean, I'm fine with it as long as you understand that it is all nonsense and that it's just a bit of fun. Then I am fine with, things like tarot and stuff like that. It's a bit of fun, it's fine. But it is important that you have that understanding. And I think there's a bit too much of a blur between people who understand that and people who don't. And I think that's the only bit I'm not comfortable with. The Will-o-Wisp. Glowing spirit of marshes, forests and caves. Will-o-Wisp is an eerie apparition that has long been the subject of both fear and fascination. It makes its appearance to lost travellers in dark, isolated places and beckons them to follow with its beguiling, blinking light. Many a wanderer has followed the wisp's alluring light across marshes or into caves, never to be seen again. Take heed, those who venture into dark places. Resist the temptation of the will-o-wisp's shimmering radiance. Turn back, or it is too late. Water hot dog, says Divago. Yes. Yes. Water hot dog. Not recommended. Even if you're vegan and want a plant-based hot dog alternative, you can do better. Ooh, a painting. Painting of the gazebo. Unfinished painting. Yes, just need to draw that tree, really, don't we? Well, it doesn't look like I can interact with the paints to finish it myself, which is a shame. Ah, this is what we were looking for, the boathouse. It's quite the boathouse. Although typically a boathouse would have like a door and then you could take the boat into the building and then close the door, like that's the point of it. This just seems to be a boat tunnel rather than the boathouse. I suppose you could lift it out of the water with these chains. What is this? Oh, this is the telegraph machine they were talking about. Yes. Can I actually open it, or can I just carry it around? And if so, can I put it down? Okay, I can put it down. I put it down on top of an unfinished sandwich. Yeah, that sandwich was probably no good after it had been in the sun anyway. Oh wow, now this is cozy. I could spend all day here. Never mind like the manor house. Like we don't need any of that. Just give me this house. Although I feel like rising damp might be a concern. Just a thought. And storms and flooding. if there's a bridge. Oh, yeah, there's a bridge up there. Answers that question. What is that? Oh! We have found the duck for this area. Or, it's an Egyptian goose, I guess. I'll be honest, it looks like a duck to me. Very red duck. Well, I'm glad we found all the ducks. How weeds spread. Weeds can take over an area quite rapidly. Some weeds have adapted in order to spread their seeds as far away as possible. The plant itself does not have much control over this, but trusts nature to lend a helping hand. Wood avens and goosegrass have seeds with a hook, designed to attach to the fur of passing animals. They are then carried and dropped up to several miles away. Dandelions have seeds with an attached feathery puff that allows them to simply be carried by the wind to a faraway location. Other plants, such as lords and ladies, wrap their seeds in an attractive berry, which birds consume and then later deposit as waste a great distance away. A final, more mysterious and also fictional example is the seed of ocelot. It is known to be picked up by critters who then take it back to their nest. As soon as the animal goes to sleep, the seed sprouts into bloom. It is not quite understood how the plant is able to detect when the creature is asleep. So these things are all true. I can certainly vouch for lords and ladies having hooks designed to attach to animal fur. Turns out they're also pretty good at attaching themselves to clothing. There are quite a few British species which you'll know if you've walked through long grass and there were some in there, because you'll come out and you'll be absolutely covered in the damn things. And if you don't brush yourself off before you go home, next thing you know, they're all in your garden. So that is very much a thing. It's particularly bad for Emma, who insists on being Emma and doing botany wearing a skirt and tights. And then tights are particularly bad at picking up seeds with hooks on them. But that's just Emma being Emma. Yes, not that kind of goose, Harry. I feel like the Egyptian geese are slightly less aggressive than the Untitled Goose Game goose, which is the personification of chaos. That's how you get garden cleavers. It is, yes. It's how you get all sorts of weeds in your garden. Fireplace. Guidelines for animal husbandry and rehabilitation for all work with animals, domesticated and wild. Animal heartbeat rates given in BPM. So, interesting table. I think this is mostly accurate. Heart rate is lower when you're asleep, and it tends to be faster in smaller animals and lower in bigger animals. So animals that are human size or larger tend to have heart rates human or lower. I think elephants, for example, have a really, really low heart rate. Not sure if shrew is actually as high as 1,000 beats per minute. That seems high. Okay, the internet assures me that that is accurate. Yeah, that's almost fast enough to be within hearing range as a continuous sound. That's about 17 hertz, or 17 times per second, and 20 hertz is about the threshold of human hearing. So if it beat any faster, you'd be able to hear it humming, which would be a terrifying thought. I did not know that. Well, thank you, game, for giving me actual factual information I didn't know. And then, yeah, bigger animals are slower. Now, what this has to do with the puzzles, I don't know yet. Sure, it will have something. Squirrels look close enough, apparently, to say. Yeah, I think this is actually real data, which is nice. Okay. Edison records. Oh, these are phonograph cylinders. Echo all over the world. Edison records. So they're all songs. Yeah, despite saying I can use WASD to rotate, WNS don't actually do anything. So I can't actually look at the top, even though the top does have the title of the song on, but I can also rotate it. Nocturne song by Otto Miller, BPM 50. Okay. Is this some sort of, we've got to match the BPM of an animal's heartbeat using a song in order to trick the plant into thinking that what it's hearing is a sleeping animal? This is fascinating, if fictitious. Daisy Dreams song by the Burn Duet. Molded Cylinder record. Blossom by the Valley Quartet. Wildflower Waltz, sung by Thomas Williams. Made at the Edison Laboratory. Okay, presumably we can put one of these in and turn the handle. Okay. Do they all play different music? Okay, I guess they do. That's nice. I don't think they sound like heartbeats, but sure. Which one was the Wildflower Waltz? I want to hear that one. That was this one. Well, it's very nice. I can't help but notice it's not a waltz. It's not in triple time. It's in four beat measures. But, sounds nice. And there's some more seeds. Okay, we have the ocelot seed. Okay. So yeah, I haven't figured out which plant is which yet, which I do need to do to match up the clues, so probably need to do that next. What is all this on the table? Foraging Critters game rules. Okay, people have been playing a board game, it looks like. Shuffle the food cards and place the stack face down in the centre of the game board. Place the food tokens around the food card on the board. Place the animals on the start tile. Players choose their animal by rolling the dice. The highest roller chooses first. Take turns to roll the dice and move your animal along the woodland path. The highest roller goes first. If you land on a food tile, pick up a food card. If your animal matches the card, you collect the tokens shown on the food card. If you land on a grey squirrel tile, it steals all of your food tokens and they must return to the board. The player who has the most food tokens in their nest at the end of the game is the winner. This game does sound like it's entirely based on chance. Can you actually play the game? Doesn't look like it. But I can draw all the cards from the deck. You can't just give us the rules of a board game and then not let us play it. Silly game. Red squirrel. Red squirrels live in nests high up in the tree. They sometimes forage food back to the nest to keep for later. Wood mice are very small and live in woodlands. Also many other habitats, including fields, parks, meadows and gardens. Moles live underground and have poor vision. They find food and mates using their sense of smell and touch. The North American grey squirrel is larger than the red, with smaller ears. It forages foods but can also digest some seeds straight away. Yes, and it is invasive and causing decline of the native red squirrels, sadly. Hedgehogs are protected from predators by their coat of needles. They live in burrows in both field and woodland habitats. Rabbits live in many habitats. In burrows underground. They come above ground to graze in the morning and evening. Thank you for redeeming drink water and stretch. I hope you like my new sounds for the redeems. The drink water one is supposed to sound a bit like glug 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 of drinking water. This one I haven't done a new sound for yet, but I will do.
How about water banana, floating water plantain, Leuronium natans?
Water banana. Yes. Thank you for the redeem, Tibago. I suppose, yes, we should take a break from our botany to do some botany. Quite a lot of botany in this stream, I'm sorry. Yes, so plantain is a whole family of plants. The two most common in the UK are greater plantain and ribwort plantain. Those are just found in waste ground and grass everywhere, in lawns, in playing fields and so on. But yeah, bananas are also a well-known member of the plantain family. So it's not quite floating water banana, but let's say that that's close enough. Cass says, is this it, the purest form of botany break? And hello to getting Miggy with it. Welcome in, hope you're having a good Friday. Who says, oh heck yeah, we're doing botany. Yes, so when I'm not playing video games on the internet, I am a botanist in real life. And I do like to share that with my viewers. For 1,000 channel points, you can request any British wildflower, and I will talk about it for a little bit. And we tend to do that in the middle of our stream as a little break from whatever game we're playing. Slightly awkward today because we were playing a game about botany, and we're now interrupting it with some botany. But it's fine by me because I love botany, but I don't know about the rest of you guys. LT Bago today has requested Leuronium natans, otherwise known as floating water plantain. Sorry to disappoint you, T-Bago. It doesn't have a banana on it. But I will bring up a photo. Yeah, the banana is very unusual amongst plantains in the size and shape of its fruit. we were just mentioning at the start of the stream about how domesticated varieties of plants have been bred selectively for hundreds of years to have bigger and tastier fruits. The wild plantain that bananas are derived from is not long, thin, and banana shaped. It's actually quite small and round. Is mostly really tough flesh and huge seeds. If you imagine banana peel, if you imagine the peel of the banana was like half the thickness of the whole banana, and most of the rest of the inside was taken up with seeds, that's what a wild plantain would be like. So we are very, very thankful to our ancestors for selectively breeding the modern banana from that nonsense. Floating water plantain, on the other hand, is a wild plant, and it's a lovely white flower. As you will guess from its name, it is an aquatic plant. The leaves float on the surface of water, and the flowers grow up out of the water. I'm just looking for good photos, and I'm finding lots of really poor quality photos. Here's a good one. So put those up. There we go. Botanicception, says Miggy. Yes. Creeptwin says all traditional bananas share identical DNA, which is cool that we bred them into the weird sweet boys they are today. Yes. So there's good and bad there. In the fact of, yes, bananas in particular are notorious for this, but there are other cultivated plants where this is true. They are all genetic copies of each other. They're all clones. You'll notice that modern bananas don't have seeds in them and therefore can't reproduce on their own. So they are reproduced by cloning the parent over and over again. What this does mean is they're very susceptible to disease. So before, I don't remember, it's sometime in the mid-20th century, let's say the 50s or 60s, I want to say, before some point in the mid-20th century, the banana that people ate in the Western world is not the same banana as today. It is another yellow bendy fruit cultivated from the same ancestor, but it was a different cultivar, and it was wiped out by a disease, and so we had to substitute it with a different banana, a closely related cultivar. The original banana that was brought to the Western world was much sweeter than the modern one. Modern bananas aren't really sweet at all. They don't have that much of a sugary taste, but supposedly they used to. And a lot of artificial banana flavouring was apparently developed based on the taste of that banana. And those artificial flavourings are still in use now, even though that's no longer what bananas taste like, which I find fascinating. Creeptwin says, I also do not contain any seeds and can only reproduce with scientific intervention. Well, if you've had the necessary procedure to sterilize, then yes, that would be true. As far as I'm aware, nobody has cloned humans yet. Cloning a mammal is much more difficult than cloning a plant. To clone a plant, literally, for most plants, you can cut off a stalk, plant that stalk in some soil, and it will grow roots and regrow as a new plant. This does not work with humans. You imagine cutting off somebody's arm, sticking it in a pot, and a new human would grow. Animals are a lot more complicated than plants. It's surprising how simple they are. So yes, it is actually the normal way of propagating not only a lot of crops but also garden plants. You just take cuttings. You don't actually collect seeds and plant a new one. There we go. Yes, that's it. Yes, I'd forgotten the names of the cultivars. Tibago, thank you for looking those up. Yes, so the Gros Michel, not the Gros Michael, although that's how it's spelt, was widely eaten before 1950, almost wiped out by Panama disease. Today's cultivar is the Cavendish, which is now also affecting the same disease. Yes, good point. But yeah, the two cultivars taste different. So the bananas you eat today are not, you're not getting the true, original, authentic banana experience. Supposedly there are some places in the world where you can still buy the other cultivar, that they don't have the disease there. Obviously, neither type of banana can grow in the British climate, so that's irrelevant to us. Mickey says we've all played Elden Ring. We all know how grafting works scientifically. Well, you know. So let's stop talking about bananas and talk about floating water plantain, shall we? So, two pictures here showing the leaves floating on the surface of the water and the flowers. I'm just going to grab one of my books. And to read a little bit about this species. Seven. So, floating water plantain. There are. So I mentioned the plantain family, which includes a lot of terrestrial plants as well as aquatic plants. But within that, there is also water plantains. There are a lot of water plantains in the UK. The most common one is just called water plantain. That grows pretty much everywhere that there's suitable conditions, i.e. flowing water. There's also lesser water plantain, floating water plantain, narrow-leaved water plantain, ribbon-leaved water plantain. Floating water plantain is actually very rare. It is not found in North Somerset, where I am. It is confined to Wales and northwest England, with a couple of records also in Ireland. At least that's where its native range is confined to. There might be, people might have planted it in gardens elsewhere or whatever. The book has this to say: a stoloniferous perennial of lakes, ponds, and slow-flowing rivers. Okay, so it prefers stagnant or slow-moving water, and abandoned or little-used canals. In deep or fast-flowing water, it can persist as a carpet of plants with rosettes of submerged leaves, but it produces expanding floating leaves and flowers freely in quieter or shallow water or in exposed mud. Okay, so the plant you see in these photos with the big flowers and the flat leaves, it will only do that in slow flowing water. Freely fruiting populations may have a seed bank. There is clear evidence for the long-term decline of this species in England, where most surviving populations are in canals, and at the periphery of its Welsh range, notably in Anglesey and Glamorgan. The major factor has been habitat loss, and known populations have been well surveyed since 2000, but further populations, especially those of submerged plants, may still await discovery in both Britain and Ireland. So yeah, aquatic plants are particularly sensitive to habitat loss. If you think about what proportion of the total area of the country is rivers and lakes, it's a very small proportion. And then you get pollution of rivers, you get construction of reservoirs and so on, all these things that can disrupt that ecosystem. So it's possible its native range was once much larger and it covered a much larger part of the UK. I do wonder if El Tibago requested this plant because it looks like it does grow in the area that he has recently moved to. I won't be too specific about where that is, but it's somewhere in North Wales. El Tibago says there are some interesting pics on the wiki about this plant and in general. Okay, I will have a look at that in a moment. First thing I'll do, I'll just quickly bring up the distribution map. You can often tell a lot about a plant from its distribution map. Like you can tell what type of rock it grows on. And for things like aquatic plants, you can often tell, if it prefers canals or rivers, things like that. So I am curious to see if yeah, so see how you've got this. I just filter this to the more precise recent records. You've got this long straight line of records which coincides with either a river or a canal. And yeah, so you see the records in the UK, sorry, in England now are confined to this area just north of Birmingham, and also these. All of these I can see are going to be canals. There is still, despite many of them not having been used for over 100 years, there is still a pretty good network of canals in industrial or former industrial areas. If we zoom in on the map here, you will see one of those canals. I don't actually know which one that is. You can tell it's a canal, because not a river, because you can see, look, it has locks and holding ponds along it. And it's also suspiciously straight and not following the contours. So yeah, that's the sort of things you'd expect to see from a distribution map. And then here, which I suspect is its only sort of remaining natural presence in rivers. I want to say Snowdonia, even though I'm not allowed to call it that anymore. You've got to call it the Welsh name that I can't pronounce. But yeah, up there. El Tibago says, it is found near me, but I'm going to say it's the fast-flowing water variant. Okay, interesting. Thank you for sharing. And then if we turn back on these, so lighter coloured squares are historical records. So you can see that it used to be found in other areas of the Midlands / Northwest, where it is no longer found. I'm going to check Wikipedia because El Tibago told me to. Why would I not? Floating water plantain. Okay, yes, so there are some interesting photos here. So there's one showing the flowers and the big flat leaves, as we mentioned. But there's also one showing what it does in faster flowing water. Actually, there's a couple. So there's this one. Come on, Windows, please do the thing. There we are. So it forms these much longer, thinner, submerged leaves. So these are both underwater photos, showing what the leaves do underwater in faster flowing water. And the wiki has this to say. It can be a difficult plant to identify. It's very variable and resembles many other aquatic plants with similar shaped leaves. The unusual shape of the floating leaves, which are rounded at the tips and tend to taper gradually into the stem. Yes, that is unusual shape for an aquatic plant. However, floating leaves are not always present. Submerged leaves have a characteristic ladder pattern with whitish flecks when seen underwater. Okay, I feel like that's quite subtle then, because I can sort of see it on this image. The range of this plant is uncertain. It is widely distributed in Western and Central Europe. Okay, so it's possibly more common in Northern Europe, which also has plenty of canal networks, so it might be present in those as well as in its natural habitats. Further east, the distribution is much more uncertain. Okay. Yeah, it's funny that, of course, not everywhere in the world has quite as much enthusiasm from volunteers / scientific tradition / resources, funding, etc. So yeah, no fault of the place, but there are a lot of places in the world that just do not have the same depth of botanical records as the UK. The idea of not knowing if a particular species grew here or not seems weird for the UK. But yeah, there are lots of countries where this plant might be found, but we don't actually know, which is fascinating. Floating water plantain grows in base pore lakes, ponds, and slow-flowing rivers with low to moderate nutrient levels. Although in some cases it tolerates alkaline systems and high nutrient levels. And it has been proved to colonize man-made freshwater systems such as canals. Yes, we have seen that. Okay, yes, and it has a picture of one of the lakes in Snowdonia. It says has a strong population of this plant. So this is a lake, so slow-moving water and low nutrient habitat. Often has populations of low genetic diversity. That makes sense because once it's found a lake, it's kind of stuck in that lake, not really able to cross-pollinate. Favours a certain amount of disturbance to survive as it is a poor competitor. Oh, interesting. It says it probably benefits from reservoirs in Wales. The Welsh mountains do have quite a few artificial reservoirs. Floating water plantain probably benefits from the resulting increase in water level fluctuation, suppressing competition from other aquatic plants and promoting flowering. Yes, this book mentioned that it grows, it's fine on exposed mud, which is not true of all aquatic plants. So the constantly changing water level would not affect it so much. However, in sites where water level fluctuations are larger, it's absent. Okay. I heard a boom thing. Oh, it's a Verdsky. Hello, Verdsky. That's another of the alerts that I haven't updated with a new sound yet. But thank you so much for resubscribing for 15 months. I can't believe it's been that long already. Creep Twin says, I gotta run, my dears, but thanks for the incredible vibes and education. No problem. Thank you for dropping by. And Verdsky, thank you for the sub, and let me do a shout out to our friend Verdsky. Seems a bit later in the day for us Europeans because Verdsky is Canadian. But if you're able to catch one of her streams, they are awesome. She does a crossword at the start, and that's always really fun. Okay, I was just reading about floating water plantain Verdsky, which is the plant that you see on screen now. Let's get the flowers back up. There we are. That's the prettiest part. I'm sure you'll agree. Yeah, I think we've read all the interesting stuff now. Somebody's just gifted me a sub to a channel I don't watch. Thank you anyway. Verdsky says thank you, no problem. I always try to shout out my favourite friends and streamers, and Verdsky certainly qualifies. Verdsky, your amazing postcard has a friend now. So Verdsky sent me this picture, and I recently received this postcard from Hazel Azazelzel, which has now joined it on my shelf. I hope I can collect many more things. Physical mementos from my streamer friends. It is nice to have something real to hold on to from them. Bertsky, thank you for redeeming your flower. We will be back to Botany Manor in just a moment. Yes, we did take a break from botany to do some botany. I'm aware that that happened. I'm just going to put my books back. Verdsky says, would that I could send you cool stuff all the time. I mean, feel free to do so, Verdsky. And if you do, it will be displayed on my shelf for all to see. Now continue with Botany Manor. We were just reading about animals and how grey squirrels are bad and other things are not. Which is not the case for Verdsky, because Verdsky lives in North America where grey squirrels are native and normal. It's only in the UK where they outcompete the red squirrels that they're bad. We also have acorn, worms, seed and grass, yes. I don't know if any of this is relevant to the puzzle or if it's just flavour. I haven't got that far yet. So I think we looked at everything in here. We did not look at everything in here. We didn't look at this. More confusing British, old-style British money in pounds, shillings and pence. 10th of June 1890, bought 10 classroom desks with chair, 20 classroom notebooks, a chalkboard, 20 boxes of black and blue ink, 10 boxes of red ink, some writing materials, a display case and a teaching desk. For a total of £4, 5 shillings and threepence. I mean, you can't even get a meal deal for that these days. So that's inflation for you. But yes, it's clear she was serious about teaching people botany. Now then, have we actually gone everywhere yet? No, we haven't gone here. Oh, I know what this is. Yeah, this is the shortcut. This is a shortcut back to the house. This is the shortcut from the house to the boathouse. That's all this is. Okay. We've been there. Still don't know what to do with this box. Like, I don't know how to open it. Oh, you click the open button. We have Morse code, and we have... Okay, that's... That's not how Morse code works. You don't have a dot key and a dash key. You just hold the key down longer for a dash, but sure. I suppose that also works. Yeah. For the plant that likes to blink a funny light, we're probably going to have to spell out some Morse code for it. So we've got enough stuff to start assembling these clues now. Sure. £4 in 1890 is £656.85 today. Not how sure to calculate things. 5 shillings. There were 20 shillings to a pound. So 5 shillings was the equivalent of 25 pence. And there were 240 old pence to a pound. So the threepence would... Oh, I can't be asked. It's about like £4.28 or something. But yes, hundreds of pounds today. So we do have all the seeds. Look, we have a full seed inventory now. We can plant all 3 of these, the final 3 seeds. We're not sure yet is how to actually germinate them. Let's just check. Have I missed anything? We came down this way, didn't we? Ah, we have missed stuff. Okay, yeah, we didn't go over this side. A handle. It is certainly a handle. Not a handle for this. I don't know where we need to put it. But we have a handle now. This game doesn't let you put things down unless there's a surface for you to put them on, I've noticed. So, like, we'd have to go and find somewhere to put the handle down. There we go. We managed to put it down. About £703 then. Yeah, that sounds about right. That was the spiritualism thing which we read. It's just a view. Okay, I think we have actually been everywhere now. That's 1,266 Canadian dollars and 47 Canadian cents for Verdsky. Butterflies. Yeah, so the blinking light thing is for the cave one. I think I've got mixed up and I'm not sure which species is which. So give me a sec to refresh my memory. Yeah, the Lucifern is that's Fool's Emerald. So everything to do with the caves belongs here. So the bioluminescence is here, the plant chemicals are here. Oh no, hang on, I did it wrong. Yeah, the telegraph note is here. The bioluminescence here, plant chemicals is here. The pH stuff is not this plant. The pH stuff is something else. So what else is for this plant? This card is for the spring dance shrub. This one. Oh, this is the entrance. That's where we were like 2 streams ago, but for some reason we couldn't climb over this table. That was too much. I'm intrigued to know if there's some way to get the water back on in here. Ah, this looks suspiciously like it could do with a handle. I'll be right back. I think what gave it away was this symbol that's on it. Same symbol as this. There we go. Much better. Lilies. Lots of... Oh. Okay, it wants me to step on these lily pads. There are lilies that can support the weight of a very small child. There are none that can support the weight of a fully grown human. Certainly not that would grow in the UK. So, if I was doing this in real life, I would be wading across the pond right now. What on earth is this? Ah, this is probably the cave where we would need to bring the plant, the cave plant, and then put it in this pot. That makes sense. Okay, well, glad we got that sorted. There was something here. Yeah, there's a news article. Yeah, that's for this plant as well. News article. And then... this one is going to be the stuff about the birds, I think. But and that's also the pH stuff, because there's a poster about birds being attracted to certain colour flowers, and then there's a poster about the pH needed to make the flower of that colour. So I think that's all the same stuff. So I think this shrub, all the stuff about hydrangeas and soil pH and the pot catalogue and the pigments, and the is the bird poster not a clue? I think those all belong in there, and then I think the thing about the animal heartbeats must be this one. So animal heartbeat, then possibly these two things as well. Not sure. I'm surprised the bird chart didn't come up as a clue, because I'm pretty sure we have to use that for something, but maybe I'm mistaken. Oh, hang on, I haven't looked at this yet. I looked at this, which is they ran over that handle with the mower. Oh, this is the the Morse code abbreviation. Over long distance, the method of communication over long distances must be selected according to the requirements of the scenario. If the message contains no sensitive information, or there is no enemy presence within the communication area, an open method of communication may be used. If open communication is permissible, both receivers may still benefit from the abbreviation of messages. See plate 2 for a table of commonly used military abbreviations using telegraphy and Morse code. Those communication methods rely more upon both technology and ingenuity. In the case of sequencing and obfuscation, planning is required, and both parties must have knowledge of the method of encryption used. Brief history of long-range military communications. Yes. Water telegraph, smoke signals, pigeons, telegraphs, and then Morse code. I mean, I would say even in the modern era, people may still benefit from the abbreviation of messages. I mean, that's what text speak is, isn't it? So things don't always change. If I remember correctly, I think the guy who was in the cave thought that it was flashing out the Morse code for attention. Yes. And the code is AA, I think it was. Attention. Yes. Okay. So we need to do KA in Morse code, I think. We also just want to use a normal plant pot for this one. This isn't the one that needs a certain pH. So let me go and get a normal plant pot. And a emerald. I still don't have all the clues. I feel like I need all the clues in order to solve it. But yeah, I think we need to do that, and then I think we need to take it into the cave. This is apparently a substitute for the caves of Cheddar Gorge. They're not quite this grand of an entrance, I have to say. Up in there. And then I think we need our telegraph machine, which I left down at the boathouse, unfortunately. So I will be back in a sec. Oh, I also planted one of these already, which we don't need now. Where did I put the... Oh, there it is. Come here. No. I need to close it again. Okay. What was it we need to do? KA. K is long, short, long, and A is short, long. So long, short, long, long. Oh, something's happening. We grew a plant. I think I see why it's called Fool's Emerald. You would certainly be a fool if you thought there were emeralds in Cheddar. I still didn't add all the clues though. I wonder if I need to add the clues. Fool's Emerald is a vine that contains luciferin, which allows it to create light. They grow in caves where they use the light to communicate. Very much like Morse code. Okay. Again, I can bring this plant with me, but I feel like it would be most at home in the cave, so I should probably just leave it here. You wouldn't grow an emerald, says Debago. I mean, if you could, they wouldn't be as valuable. Right, so what... Have I got all the clues? I think there's a page... Ah, okay. Yeah, see, there's this clues page. Oh, let me come out of the green light. There's 2 clues saying they haven't been found in the bird garden, so I am missing some clues still. Let me go and find those clues. Where is the bird garden? There's a section with some bird feeders in it, which feels like it could be the bird garden. That would make sense. This is not the bird garden. But I can hear birds. Probably not supposed to be in this part of the map. I think think I clipped through that hedge by mistake, and I'm now sort of stuck here. Silly Emma, breaking the game. Does she like? Can I get out again? Okay, yes I can. So which bit is it referring to that I haven't been to? Those are not birds, those are butterflies. We've come from there, we've been there before. That is not a duck that I can pick up, that is a stone duck. I know you can make rubies because they use them in watchmaking, I don't know emeralds. I mean, you can probably make artificial emeralds. You can make artificial diamonds, so I'm sure it's possible. Yeah, there's somewhere I haven't been yet. Look at all this. Put those. Here? I saw that you could pick this up. Ah, okay. I think we need to take that to one of these singing birds when we find out which one. There must be more clues here that I didn't see. This is... Oh, that's that area. We came from there. We looked at that. The place to hang a bird feeder. There is that. Ah, did we go? No, we did go here. Yeah, we saw that. Saw that. Oh, we didn't go here. Mixed seed for garden birds. Highest quality, hygienically blended. Yes, okay. So we can take this thing of birdseed. Yeah, okay. And we saw the bird poster. Nothing else here. Oh, okay. Apparently the bird seeds and the bird poster were clues. I'm not sure why it didn't count the bird poster. We definitely looked at it before. Okay, so the remaining two things here then are going to be the bird seed. Oh no, sorry. This one is going to be the Morse code and the military code. Yeah, there we go. That's one we already did. And then for this one, the bird seed and the bird poster are relevant. There we go. And then for the final one, the oscillate, it's going to be everything else. Okay, so the board game rules and playing cards apparently are clues for this. Not quite sure how yet. And the weeds. Well, that's all the clues. And that's the end of the book. So once we've finished these two, that is it, I think. So, how about actually solving this this section? So we're trying to get this plant to grow. We need to put it in a particular pot and type of soil according to what pH we want it to be. I know that. And also, depending on the pH, we want it will be a certain colour, and then I guess we would need to pick the bird that's attracted to flowers of that colour in order to pollinate it. The question is, what colour does it need to be? So is there something somewhere that has a specific bird that I missed? Oh, I wouldn't have missed it because I've got all the clues. I just didn't. Emma's reading comprehension is apparently lacking. And then once we know which bird, we would need to find that bird. I think. This is why all these hooks are here. El Tobago says you can grow emeralds the same way. They're structurally the same. Good to know. So let's. Oh, we can't. Yeah, we can't do this bit until we know what oil to use or what pot to use. Window. Is it from this card? No, this doesn't say what colour the spring dance shrub is. Nor does this. I need a starting point. I've got a list of birds and what colours they like. I've got pHs for the colour and I've got soil type for the pH, but I haven't got which one to use for this particular plant. I know that. Yeah, if I was to put this here, it would that bird. So is this the only bird I've got? Is that it? I've just got a robin to choose from? Because I saw there were lots of other hooks. So do these attract birds if I leave it here, or is it literally just that robin is the only one? Because that might be the answer then. But in that case, why are all these hooks here? I assumed if you put it on a different hook, a different bird would show up. Yeah, this doesn't actually seem to show up any birds. Okay, so the starting point then I guess is that it needs to be a robin. Robins are attracted to red flowers. So then we need pH that makes a red flower, which I think was something strongly acidic in this game. I went the wrong way. So we can probably just leave this here, right? Where was the... The problem with this game is remembering where everything is. Where was the soil colour research? Here. Oh no, red, sorry, other way around. Red is 12 to 14. Okay, so we need something that makes a pH of 12 to 14. And there's only one combination that does that, and it's seaweed and sandstone. So we need to go get seaweed and sandstone. Fortunately, we have those things. I think this is the sandstone pot, but let's just make sure. Yeah. So, sandstone pot, put some seaweed in it. Wait, how do I put the seaweed in the pot? Do I need to put normal soil in first? Maybe I need to do that. Soil. Ha! Now these become interactable. Add seaweed. With seaweed. It is spring dance, isn't it? Yeah, add spring dance shrub seed. Water. Okay, and it's flowered, so I think that means we use the right soil, but now we need to get it to germinate with the aid of a bird. We know that you are attracted to... oh, you're there now, aren't you? You're attracted to red flowers. Where do I put this, though? Can I put it in here? Won't let me. Now what? There was another feeder down here somewhere. If this helps. Not really. Put one there. Actually, no. If I put one here, will it go to that? Ah, okay. I think I see what I'm doing here. I think I'm taking this robin on a magical journey. Okay. Rooney, hello. Welcome in. Thank you so much for, first of all, for the raid, and secondly, for demonstrating my new raid alert music. I hope you liked it. Rooney, I hope you had a good stream. Do let me know what you were playing and whether it was successful. Welcome in Hurricane and Otto, Best Putat, and Kurjo, and Rooney, of course. Thank you to everyone who redeemed your flowers. If you haven't already redeemed one, don't forget it is only 10 channel points to do so. It was very alerting, says Otto. Okay, that's probably a hint for what game we were playing. Oh no, sorry, I did know this. You were doing Lego, weren't you? Yes. You were doing Lego. Rooney was building a model out of Lego. Yes, I'm afraid I didn't get to see any of it, Rooney, but I do have a good excuse. I was at work, and I literally just the moment I finished work, I was already 10 minutes late for my own stream, so I didn't get to come into yours. I did briefly manage to say hi to Ophelia, but that was all. Rooney, thank you for redeeming your flower. We're building Lego today and having a chill time. Kurjo will be running away to play some games, but had to raid in to say hi first. No problem, Kurjo. We are playing a game ourselves. We are playing Botany Manor, which has been a very relevant game for me because I am a botanist. It's also had a lot of stuff in it that's local to me because it's set in Somerset where I live. We're quite close to the end of the game now, I think. Eltibago says, sounded a bit like also Sprach Zarathustra. Yes, well, it's obviously inspired by that, yes. But it is mostly original. Emma has just been having fun putting a few seconds of music. It's writing like 5 minutes of music, like I did for my stream start music, and also the Ophelia song. It takes a lot of time, and sometimes it's nice to just make a few seconds of something and then not have to take it any further. And it occurred to me that the channel point redeems and the gift subs and stuff would be perfect opportunities for me to do that, so that's what I did. Anyway, we were suddenly doing an escort mission with a robin when Rooney raided in. I think we need to slowly lure it around the garden. Rooney says, how is the manor doing? The manor is doing pretty well. Big place, lots of plants. I wish I had a garden like this. Now, the question is, where are we actually going with all this? What is the end goal? Somewhere where we can have the plant. There's one there. I'm just going to keep following the trail of conveniently placed hooks. Oh wait, oh. Ah, I see the catch now. I went too close to the robin and it flew all the way back to the start. Okay. This is an escort mission, but if you go too close to the thing you're escorting, it resets. The best kind of escort mission. So I guess this hook isn't really for anything then, because we don't need to take it this way. Yeah, okay. Right, let's try that again. Not get too close this time. It's a follow stealth mission, says T-Bago. Yes. A stealth mission where you stealthily lure your target using birdseed. Hello Matcha Catcher, welcome in. Thank you so much for redeeming your flower of the day. LT Bago says, is it bad I think more about Spaceballs than anything else with that song? I think that's understandable. Emma is only having a bit of fun writing silly bits of music. Don't need to read anything more into it than that. Right, I'm going the long way round to not get too close to the robin this time. So let me go all the way around here. Go there and then all the way back again. Hopefully this is what I'm supposed to do, otherwise I'll look very silly. Then here. Okay, and oh, then here. Oh, I see. And then you have the plant there. I should probably put the plant there before I lure the robin over. Where did I leave the plant? The plant is all the way down the other end of the garden still. I keep walking out this gate without meaning to. Here it is. Not sure why we couldn't just pollinate the plant at the other end of the garden, but I guess it wants to be over here. because that's where this little saucer is, and we couldn't just move the saucer. That would not do at all. It's much easier to move the plant and the bird over here than move the saucer over there, for reasons unknown. Okay, bird is now there. I think we need to do this one more time. Don't get too near the bird. Please draw your attention to the red flower. Okay. Oh, it worked. Okay. We have grown a spring dance shrub, and now loads of robins are showing up because we've got all this. Hooray! Spring dance shrub contains anthocyanins, causing it to change colour depending on the pH level of its environment. Robins love red flowers and will be attracted to the red variant of this shrub. I don't think that part's true. Robins, from my experience, will eat just about any seeds. Okay, well, plant. Another plant successfully created. So I think there's just one left now. I think there's just this ocelette. And all the clues for that are in the boathouse. So let me plant a seed for one and then take it there. So I don't think this one needs a special pot. I think this is just... Hello. Suddenly you're not scared of me like you were before. I think this just needs a regular pot. Soil. Let. And take this down to the boathouse. Could have just made it here, I suppose. Oh. Yeah, we have that stuff about how to play this game, and then we have these little cards. We have this. Yeah, that's it. And then, since the animal goes to sleep, seeds burst into bloom. And it doesn't say which animal picks it up, it just says critters, which is rather vague. And over here we've got a table of animal heartbeats when they're asleep. And then we've got some phonograph records that play at different BPMs. I think we're supposed to match those with those. What I'm not sure about is how we know which critter is the right one. Now, maybe we're supposed to infer it from these cards. So, why does this collect 0 tokens? Why do you not get any tokens for getting an ocelette seed, but you get tokens for everything else? This says field card. So are we looking for animal in a field? such as wood mouse, because they live in trees, and they just live in tunnels under the ground, and they just eat the seeds straight away, and they live in both field and wood. I don't know. I don't know how we're supposed to know which one. I suppose the other thing is we only have 5 choices of BPM. We have 70, 90, 100, 120, and 50. So it's not going to be 90 or 100 or 150, because there isn't any animal that does that while it's asleep. I think it's going to be the red squirrel, isn't it? So the red squirrel was 120. We did have one that was 120. I can't remember which one it was now. Yeah. Yeah, because we don't have a 450 BPM. Some sort of Nightcore hyperpop remix would be needed to replicate the heartbeat of a rat or a mouse. So we don't have a record that does that. So I think it's going to be Red Squirrel, just based on the fact that that's the only one we can actually do with these chords. So that would be this one. Okay, looks like my reasoning was correct. We did not have to play any insane 450 BPM music to grow the plant, which is a relief, because it's 1890 and hyperpop hasn't been invented yet. And I think that's the last plant, because there's nothing else in the book. We have a delivery at the gatehouse, apparently. Let's go and have a look. Yes, not only plant, but also music, Harry. Music to spin to. Let's do a Gurchy spin, shall we? First person perspective Gurchy spin in progress. Emma is now dizzy. I don't know if the character in this game is wearing a spinny skirt. It's the 19th century. I think everybody has to wear the same thing. Let's head to the gatehouse. Now what? Oh yeah, we need to post this thing off, don't we? Yes. That was the whole point of what we were doing, was so we could post off our herbarium. There we go. Good that we have our own personal post box. And that's the end of the game. Do we get to find out what happened? Was her herbarium accepted and published? Eltibago says there's a Moby song called 1000 that's approximately 1015 BPM. Almost exactly the same as a shrew heartbeat. But yeah, I don't think it existed in 1890. Yeah, well, obviously I liked this game. It was about botany. I think it was a very good game. It did mix fantasy and reality a little bit, but only to a degree that somebody like me would care about. And as I say, there are literally 2 people in the world who know enough about the botany of North Somerset and would actually be playing this game. So that's not an audience the developers would care about. I thought it was a very good game. It was chill, the puzzles were nice, not too hard. There was quite a bit of running around the map, checking back on clues. I do wish once you'd added clues to your book, you could just like go to the book and click on it and it would show you the document again. But I can sort of see why they wouldn't. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I should thank Izzy the Penguin for streaming it herself, thus prompting me to think, yes, I really should be streaming this game as well. Okay, 1 year later, we do get to find out. We are back in house, and someone's locked the door behind us. That is concerning. Aha. Presented to Lady Arabella Green by the Women's Education Union on the occasion of her opening the Green School of Botany, 12th of April 1891. Hello Brute Force, who says GG and hello, sorry me and Lana have just been a little busy, hope you're well. No problem Brute, that's absolutely fine, thank you for saying hi. And yes, we just beat this game, Botany Manor. I know you and Lana both got to see bits of it, so I do hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. What is this here? Ceremonial key. We've collected so many keys in this game, and finally we've got one that we don't need to open anything. Conveniently we can't go upstairs because there's boxes in the way. Come on, game. Don't do this to us. And our library has converted into a classroom. That makes sense. That's what all these desks were for. Herbarium. Okay. Everybody... Yes, all the students are starting their own herbaria, which we don't get to look at what plants they've discovered. We just get to see that the books exist, but there they are. There is an apple. Of course, all Victorian classrooms have an apple for the teacher. Brute Force says Lana sends her hellos to everyone. Thank you, Best Panda, for saying hello. And Best Brute, of course. You are both the best. And a bell. Forgotten floor. Lesson 1, air purifying flowers, windmill wort. Yes, this was one of the first flowers we grew in the game. Not a real one. And these are the people who are here. Classroom layout. I feel like with a class size of 6 you can probably remember their names, but sure. Letter from sister. My dear Flora, I'm terribly sorry your herbarium didn't get picked up for publishing, though okay, so it didn't get picked up. Though I am most excited about your new plans to turn Botany Manor into a botanical academy. I look forward to visiting the school and meeting the talented students you have taken under your wing. Let's hope they carry on our fight. Lots of love, Elizabeth. P.S. Arabella, I hope you don't mind me still calling you by your childhood pet name. Okay, yes, childhood pet name of Flora because plants. That makes sense. I understand. And this is the Flora. A herbarium. Forgotten Flora. And, looks like we're teaching now. And then that really is the end. Okay, that was a nice ending as well. That's good. Okay. I'm going to take you back to the title screen. Yes, I can jump back into chapters if I want to. I noticed I was getting a lot of achievements while that was going on. Let me just have a quick look. 31 out of 36 achievements. So I didn't get all of them. Achievements for growing each plant. So what did I not get? Oh, I see. It doesn't want to spoil. It doesn't spoil me as to what I didn't get. But yeah, so there was an achievement for sitting on a seat. There was an achievement for sitting on a seat for at least a minute. Shaking a locked door. Inspecting a duck. That's got to be one of my favourite ever video game achievements. Inspect a duck. Play the harpsichord. Create a faulty mix of chemicals. Obviously grow all the plants. Find the secret priest hideout, open the lock, collect all the pipes. Thank you so much for the follow, and also for showing off my new follow music. That's the first time that's been played. Definitely a theme to all these bits of music I'm making. Oh, flush the toilet was an achievement as well. Inspect Ava's paintings, inspect all the ducks. Find a way across the pond. Complete every page, reach the end. Okay, yeah. So there must be other. It must be other hidden interactions like flushing the toilet and inspecting the ducks that I didn't see. I am not going to hunt for those on the stream. I feel like I've done a lot of hunting. Sorry, a lot of hunting around this game already. So we'll leave things there. It's not really worth me starting a new game today. I don't think. I tend to have 4 hours as a goal for the stream length, but we're already at 3.5. The next game in our Friday slot will be a game called Lingo, which is going to be another puzzle game, sort of a cross between The Witness and Antechamber is how I've seen other people describe it. So rule discovery stuff like The Witness, and it's word based. So like they're word puzzles. It sounds like exactly my sort of thing. We'll have to see whether it is, because I haven't spoiled myself by watching anyone else play it, but it does sound good. And hello Larko6000. Yes, thank you so much for the follow. Been watching the stream a small while, like the game. Yes, well, I'm afraid we are done with the game, but I can definitely recommend it if you enjoy botany, or even if you just enjoy casual puzzling. A very nice world to explore. Tibago would like to see my outfit. Okay, we can do that. Right, the game mutes when you tab out of it. One small flaw with the game that only really affects streamers. Amazing sound effects, says Matcha. Yes, I've added sound effects to my redeems, including that one. No prizes for guessing what that one's based on. Okay, show outfit and blowhide looks like we're doing. 2-in-1 special. My outfit today is this flowery dress with my stretchy belt. Belt inspired by Heron to Birds, who doesn't stream anymore, sadly, but she has loads of really wide belts. And it does go spinny. See? And this is Blowhigh. Blowhigh is soft and cuddly and we love him. And we how this usually works is I usually hold him while playing the game after someone redeems him, but today somebody's redeemed him right at the end of the stream. So I'm only holding him for the outro, but that's okay. Don't worry, Blowhigh, you are still loved and valued nonetheless. Scary sound for not scary shark. Yeah, it's based on the Jaws theme. It was the obvious thing to do for a shark. I was going very much with low effort music choices. So I hope you like my outfit and the Blowhigh. Oh, I was like, someone messaged me on Discord. It was just LTBago sharing the rare plant register for where he lives, and that is a lot of rare plants. Clearly you live in a very biodiverse area, and I hope there are good measures in place to conserve it. But yeah, since we are done with today's game, I think I'm just going to raid out a little earlier than normal. But I will be back tomorrow at 7:30 PM UK time. And we will be continuing with, oh god, my mind's gone blank. What game were we playing? Planet of Lana on Saturday, that's it, yes. We will be continuing with Planet of Lana. I don't know how long that game is and how much we have left. It feels like we made a lot of progress last time. And then I will also be here on Sunday, starting at 6:30, a little bit earlier. And we'll be continuing with Mini Metro. So, Al Huno, I'm not sure if you're still lurking. If you're able to be here for that, that would be great. Probably, I don't know if we'll finish every level of Mini Metro, but I think Sunday's stream will be the last stream of it. But then we will also do Mini Motorways, which is sort of the same thing, and then we'll do 2 streams of that. So we're getting 4 streams out of that request, not bad. Larko says, when's your next stream? Yeah, so tomorrow at 7:30 is my next stream. I do have a Discord if you're interested in joining that. I can drop a quick invite link in chat. I do try and keep my schedule up to date on Twitch as well, but that's the place for updates. And now I'm going to look for somebody to raid. So if anybody has suggestions for raids, then do share. I'll have a quick look. I suspect Nespa is live by now. Yes, she is. Usually when I raid her, she's been live a couple of hours already. So we could go there earlier than normal. Who else is on? Is there anyone I can catch who would normally have finished by now? Don't think so. Oh, we've got House Liger playing Cyberpunk again. We go to them at some point. They've just hit 50 followers, so they were going to be affiliate. Yeah, we could go there just for the sake of going to someone new. I say someone new. I think most people here will know them because Lana raided them. I want to say somebody in our community raided them anyway. Yeah, let's go there today, and we can always go to Nespa another day. She's very consistent with her streams. So House Liger is playing Cyberpunk. And they have only just started, so well, actually, what's the etiquette on raiding someone when they're still on their stream start screen? I guess you should wait for the actual stream to start rather than raiding when they're not there, because they don't have a chance to show off their content. Depends how long their starting screen is, I suppose. Let me see if there's anyone else apart from Nespa. I think Nespar's like my default choice at this point for streamers, just because she's so consistent. Ooh, somebody getting a last minute flower. Aha, Lana! Thank you for redeeming your flower. And brute force. I need to have like I need to leave the flower bot running for like 5 minutes after the stream for people who forgot to get their flower. Oh, Ophelia! I thought you might have gone to bed. Ophelia, thank you so much for redeeming your flower, and I hope you enjoyed the stream if you were lurking. Sorry, I couldn't participate in yours more earlier. Okay, House Liger's still not live, so we'll go to Nespar today, but I will definitely keep House Liger in mind for future stream. How about that? So Nespar is playing Diddy Kong Racing today. She plays a lot of NES games, hence her name. Always very cozy to be around. Does a very good job of reading and responding to all the chat messages, a lot better than I do, I have to say. So there is the raid. Otto says thanks for the stream. No problem, Otto. Thank you for sticking around, as all the Rooney Raiders did. Yes, everybody say hi to Ophelia. I think most of us were lurking in her Dwarf stream earlier. By the way, Ophelia has been playing Mass Effect, if that's of interest to anyone. Today was just a Dwarf stream, just a low energy chill stream. But that was good too. If anyone would like to spam a raid message in chat when we go into Nespar's stream, then I'm going to type one out now, which you can use if you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, then use any emotes you like, but if you're not sure which ones to use, I usually do ones with dancing dinosaurs. So there's one for you to copy and paste if you'd like. Matcha says bye and have a great rest of your day. You too, Matcha. So yeah, back here Saturday and Sunday. Until then, thank you all very much for watching, and bye for now.